Hello, my name is Yasu, and today I am here to talk about some tips and tricks that I've written down about, drawing and artwork and all that good jazz. I have been drawing for, I want to say, like maybe 22 years. I, w- I want to count like when I was very little into this because I believe that I was interested in art and drawing from when I was a wee little, like 6 year old or something like that. So, yeah, I mean, you can start whenever. It's never too late to start drawing, but I feel like the sooner you start, the better you'll get as time goes on. And for those of you who are listening who are younger, all I want to say right off the bat is, you know, don't stop. Like, keep doing it. Don't compare yourself to others. Is like one of the key points. When you're young, like it's really hard not to, because you see other people that are older than you or even your age that are very successful, and you know what, success is different for everybody. I don't consider myself successful at all, but that doesn't mean that I'm gonna stop drawing or anything like that. Like I actually really love what I do, and when other people, comment or like or uh, reblog or retweet my artwork, that's just a perk of what you do. It just means that you're making people happy, and yeah. So anyway, enough of my rambling. I'm gonna go ahead and look at my handy little list here of tips and tricks. And the very first thing that I find incredibly important is that you should always begin with this. Especially if you are an artist who wants to do character drawings or realistic drawings or what have you. If you're going to draw people, you have to study anatomy. Um, and I'm not saying like you have to draw realistically. I don't draw realistically. I prefer like the manga slash anime whatever style, because it's just what I like. But in order for me to actually create decent drawings, I need to know basic human anatomy. Um, you know, use Google. Google is your your best friend when it comes to finding references for anything like that. So Google poses, or I'm sure there are some programs out there that are also for posing and stuff, and I can't really remember the names of them right now. I'm terribly sorry, but if you just Google anatomy, get past the hee hee naked bodies, like yeah, you're gonna see naked bodies probably, but you have to know what they look like in order to draw them, and then you just put clothes on them. You don't have to draw them naked. You know, if you don't want your parents, questioning you. But anyways, another thing about human anatomy and drawing in general, that I don't really hear a lot of people talk about because it's kind of taboo, but go ahead and trace the body, because the more you trace something, the you get like a muscle memory, and it just becomes easier for you to draw. um Now if you are tracing a body and you are tracing a pose, I highly recommend that you don't plan on selling any merchandise or anything with that on it. Like you can post it online, but what I recommend is don't take the full credit. Excuse me. Don't take the full credit for the image. Credit the post, like the image that you used. Just tell people, hey, I drew this, but I didn't like completely draw this. Like the pose that I used was this. Like I referenced this. And once you start getting better at drawing poses in the human body, then you can start practicing and just doing it off of memory, off of muscle memory. um, Not saying that you should never reference. absolutely reference. If you want to reference like another pose, another artist, go ahead and do that. Totally that's totally fine. It's all for practice, you know? And the only way to practice is to look at something and redraw it over and over again. Honestly, when it comes to drawing, you're not just gonna pick up a pencil and like just draw still lifes right off the bat and be like, yeah, I can totally draw this portrait like without problems. No, it's gonna take a while. It takes a while to like get that muscle memory going, to feel confident enough to draw out of your mind. I'm not really sure how to say it, but you know, like if you want to do cartoony stuff and if you want to do anime stuff and all that stuff, you want to have at least like a basic understanding of the human anatomy. You know, like, oh, people are 5 heads tall or whatever it is. I can't remember, because at this point of my life I just look at a pose and I try to mimic the pose with my drawing but alter it and all that stuff. Anyway, so with that, I also want to throw in, this is like my number 2, you have to study anatomy and also study other artists. And what I mean by that is, like, don't not copy them per se, but study other artists. If you want to find your own style, just kind of, I don't know, just look at other artists and see what they do. Excuse me. See what they do. If you like their style, if you like the way they color, if you, I don't know, you like the way they draw eyes, you like the way they draw hair, or you like the way that they line their artwork, and you want to like you want to not necessarily be like them, because you shouldn't really be comparing yourself to others, but it's human nature. You're going to compare yourself to others. But just study the way that they do art, and then you can take that and then kind of put it into your own style. So as an example, I'm a big fan of one artist. I'm not gonna name who it is, because they do some adult work, and I'm not really comfortable talking about that stuff with youngins listening. If you are listening, you didn't hear that from me, but I like the way that they color. So what I've done is, like, in the drawing that I'm working on right now that you're looking at in the screen, I try to incorporate their style a little bit with mine. Like, I like the way that they color the skin, so I studied a crap ton of their pictures, and I'm like, okay, yeah, like, well, the hair right now, as it is, they don't color the hair like this. This is something that I picked up from another artist. So, you know, just study artists. Like, don't blatantly copy their work, because that's bad. That means that you're taking their creativity and basically trying to make it yours, and you should be trying to make your own style, like your own creativity. And you know, if someone calls you out on it, just own up to it. Like, if it's just a coincidence, then just let them know, oh, I'm sorry, like I didn't know I was copying this other artist. And then you can take a look at their art, and I don't know, maybe you guys can be friends or something. Who knows? Another thing that's important is to look at art books, because you're gonna find most of the images online for art books, which is kind of crappy, because, you know, they work really hard on the art book, and you should probably give them your money. I don't want to say it like that because it sounds horrible, but, you know, what's that word? When you support. There we go. Support the artist. Or even go to the library and look at like old paintings and stuff, like Michelangelo and Da Vinci and whatever artists you like from your history books. Like, it doesn't have to be a modern artist. Just look at what other people did in the past, and then, you know, find something that you like. So find something that you find yourself drawn to, and you're like, yeah, I really like this style, or oh, I really like the way that they paint hands or something. I don't know. Just look around you. There's plenty of things to help you grow as an artist. Another thing that you can do is go to museums. I absolutely love going to museums, art museums especially. And that's because I like to look at the paint strokes on the paintings, and like the little carved like smoothness on the sculptures. Like, it's fascinating looking at, you know, all of the artwork displayed there, and all the things that are like hundreds of years old, you know, like all these paintings that are just like, wow, someone actually sat down and painted this for like months. Like, this took months to do. So just think about it, you know, like for a digital art piece like this one that I'm working on right now, this took me 2 hours. Someone sat there for like months. I mean, you know, they took breaks obviously for days, but I mean, they would come back and work on it, and that's another thing. You don't have to rush art. You really don't. Like, just do what makes you happy. I don't know. I don't know what else to add to this. Just look at our other art, and, you know, just try and like find something that you like about it, and see if you can incorporate it in your own work. That's what I'm trying to say. Another thing that I see a lot of young artists do is that they are just afraid of trying. And I'll be honest, it's hard to start at first, because you look at art supplies and stuff and you're like, oh man, it's so expensive to like buy a tablet, or to buy Copics, or these fancy pencils and paintbrushes and all that. And all I gotta say about that is, don't be afraid. If you're afraid because it costs a lot of money, then buy cheaper things. Like, you don't have to buy like a super expensive set of color pencils, or a super expensive Wacom tablet with the screen like a Cintiq, like the one that I have. I started off with like a third-party tablet, it was a third-party tablet. I can't even remember the name of it, like the brand of it. But that thing was like my lifesaver for many years. And, you know, like, you don't really have to spend that much money in order to start doing it. Just take your time with it. Use cheap art supplies. It doesn't matter. The expensive art supplies don't matter. Once you're confident enough to use like just the normal cheap stuff, then buy the expensive stuff. And if you're scared of using the expensive stuff, then don't use it. Only use it for special occasions. If you're like, if you drew something with the cheap stuff and you're like, man, this came out really nice, but maybe it would have looked better with like something else, then redraw it. Nobody's stopping you. You can redo it. And you can even make it better than the last time you did it. Because if you're doing traditional media, like that's really all you can hope to do. Like, you have to like just redo it, or, you know, just set it aside somewhere. As for digital, like, just like I said, like, try to find a cheap tablet. Start with that if you really want to. If your parents have an iPad, use that. But yeah. Anyways, that's pretty much all I got right now. If you guys have any more questions, just let me know, and I'll try to answer them as best as I can. And yeah. Thank you so much for watching. Keep drawing, be happy, love what you do, and don't give up. Don't stop. Keep doing it.